There is a place where the lost embers go. As their light begins to fade, Ember ran because standing still made them feel helpless. The wall glistened. The painting showed embers on a sacred journey. Ember felt so afraid and alone that it was a relief to find someone to talk to. Ember froze, almost too frightened to look away. When they noticed a small satchel. The satchel felt heavy. Ember looked inside. The statue shone brightly in the light. There was a symbol on the floor. Ember noticed something wrong. There was a round space where something used to fit. To Ember's delight, the golden statue slid perfectly into place. Ember left, feeling sorry for the stranger now alone in the dark. The stairway opened into a dark forest. Ember could feel fear taking over. They'd washed up alone, somewhere very unfamiliar. Ember felt like they were being watched. The foxes howled into the night. The only reply was silence. The path was blocked. As Ember approached, the flames seemed to call out. With a feeling like falling, the forest had slipped away. Ember felt lost in darkness and ruin. The caged flame stoked new hope in Ember. Hope was almost within reach. The flame spoke and Ember listened. The flame lingered ahead. Was it trying to escape? Or leading the way? Campfire flickered into life. The ghost spoke. Hope has returned to a forlorn. I will warm them until they choose to move on. Ember looked to the ghost for answers. This is a place between places, to travel through as your light fades. But none have passed on in a long time. The Forest King now holds us here, and those who linger will turn forlorn. Again that word, forlorn. The forlorn are those who lost their way along the path. If you find them, send them to me and I will guide them. I am just a guide along the way to fan the flame. So many lost embers have I seen. More than I ever thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. The Forest King watches the doors. The campfire will light the way. Find those who are lost. Bring embers to the fire. There are others lost along their journey. Find them and I will guide them. Step backwards, little ember. Look behind. Upon a small grassy cliff rests a forlorn. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." Travel wisely. Return if you have lost your way. The stranger said, "Take care of those you care about the most." The crow held its shining trophy tight. Inside was a scrap of journal. The strangers on the water went on without me. Where have I landed? Vines and thorns stretch out to trip me. The stranger whispered, "Ever feel like you are being watched? I've never felt that. What does it feel like? Is it nice? It sounds nice." The worm looked helpless, with no way to escape. As Ember picked it up, the worm let out a little yelp. The Wanderer's Diary. Unfamiliar trees, a path overgrown. Is this a resting place? A place between places? I call out, but mine is the only voice. The broken net hung ominously around the skeleton's neck. The stranger shivered in the cold. They'd moved through such dark places. Warmth was a distant memory, stolen by the passing miles. They lay down and closed their eyes. The stranger blinked at Ember. Is it morning already? How long have I been asleep? The stranger blinked at Ember. Is it morning already? How long have I been asleep? Barely visible through the murky water was the shadow of something hiding. And on a small pier with barely a sound, a lonely fisherman sat. The traveller spoke. You ever had roast frog, friend? I miss a good roast frog. Oh, how they crackle. The stranger had been forgotten. They tried to follow as best they could. But no one heard them when they fell behind. The stranger looked at Ember with surprise. Someone came back for me. Thank you. The traveler said, "You sailed in here. Where's your boat? Friend, you need a boat. Go see the builder in the caves. Tell them I'm sorry I never came back." The stranger had blazed their own path, created their own rock, their own islands. They did not need Ember's kindness. But still, Ember stayed. Building a bridge should it ever be needed. The stranger met Ember's eyes. The two shared a moment of silence. The Ember was curious. "Where did you wake up?" "I'm headed for the crossroads. It's not far, I've heard there's a nest there. A safe place." The stranger was trapped, caught in a maze. It was hard to make sense of this place. The trail just kept on closing. The stranger's voice was hoarse. I just need some time, I think, to see things clearly. The ember was curious. Where did you... I'm headed for the crossroads. I've heard there's a nest there. A safe place. The fisherman murmured quietly between sorrowful breaths. The fisherman felt so useless. His former joys were hollow. Sitting out there every day by the pond, only the dark water to hear him talk. In that darkness, a glimmer flickered. A thought beating like a drum. A thought that went round and round. Ember couldn't hold on. All started with a frog. Every day by the pond, a constant reminder. For a brief moment, the fisherman struggled to speak. He looked at Ember, hopeful. The fisherman spoke softly. "There's a frog in that pond. I saw him grow from a tadpole. We were friends of a sort, spent every day side by side. So much better at fishing than me, that frog is. Catches them before I can bait them. Oh, it makes me feel useless some days." The fisherman sighed. "I've wasted so much time feeling like..." The old man looked carefully at the pond, at their rod, at Ember. "Well, listen to me here, rambling on and on. It helps though, telling someone. Thank you, Ember. If you need help catching anything, you just ask." "You saw the frog? Did the frog mention..." "You asked the frog about me. Actually, no. Please don't tell the frog how much I talk about them." The fisherman noticed the broken net Ember was carrying. "Let me have a look. See what I can do." With a silk thread, the fisherman carefully knotted it. With each knot he tied, a net began to form. "Here you go. Good as new." Poor little worms. But how do you fish without them? One for me, one for the fishes. Slurp 'em down. I chased old Blue Betty. Best days of my life catching that fish. Had to use myself as bait. Stuck on me head ever since. They say catching a fish isn't the point. So I tell myself that. I tell myself that a lot. If you need help catching anything, you just ask. The frog stared at Ember, its belly rumbling. This was not how Ember had imagined the gurgling of water, a deafening heartbeat. But then... the frog returned Ember's good deed by leading them to a lost forlorn. The stranger stood alone. Their friends have fallen aside, retreating from what came next. The stranger had ventured on. Now they were deep in the woods. felt so pointless. The stranger spoke hesitantly. "Is the campfire crowded? Let me gather myself. I'll see you there." Ember found the Wanderer's diary. The oily smell of frogs. They know more than they will say. They watch me watching them. The stranger spoke. "You look hungry, friend. You bring any broth with? There's a cook in the swamp. Makes a broth like you wouldn't believe. Keep telling them that it doesn't taste right. They'll keep giving you more." The key was nestled between the reeds, but it was just out of reach. The old gate was locked. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. The stranger gasped for breath. Dark water slipping above their head. The sea didn't care if they sank or swam. Slowly the tides ebbed, washing over old walls. Safe harbor emerging from the inky depths. Ember reached out a hand. The stranger looked down. The ground feels good beneath my feet, friend. The ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. Your journey lies, little one, your journey ahead will not be easy. The path to leave this place is blocked. I will guide others to follow after you clear the way." There are others like me who can help. You will always be welcome here in the forest. Once again, Ember could feel eyes watching. The stranger whispered, "Be kind to yourself." The stranger said, "Take care of those you care about them." The stranger thought, "I feel ready to move on." The stranger said thoughtfully, "I felt so alone." The stranger said, "Thank you for..." The stranger spoke. My head filled with tears. The stranger said, "I had forgotten what warmth feels like." The ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. Your journey lies ahead." Ember approached the forlorn, but felt it was different. They said, "I know what I need to do, what I need to feel. I don't want to be helped." Ember could not help. Not all problems were puzzles to be solved. Ember uncovered a journal entry. Dusk brings the longest shadows. The lanthorn comforts me. Soft melodies from home. The wild things listen, yellow eyes in graying trees. Do you know where we are? I've been walking forever, lost in the marsh. The two travelers were talking quite... Yeah, I got so lost. Why go anywhere else if it's... Yeah, never have to... The birds scare me though. The two travelers... Yeah, I got so... Why go anywhere? Yeah, the birds scare me though. The guard joked. Another scrawny Ember, and with a bag looking all night. Both guards started looking at Ember with a deathly stare. The guard leered. "The Forest King would like you, little scruff. Yes, come a little closer. Let us see what's in that bag. We guard the door to the Forest King. Oh yes, we decide who gets to see the king. The Forest King. Yes, come this way." feeling of foreboding overcame Ember. Ember was terrified but tried not to. The giant bird spoke softly. "Do not fear. The bird is a friend." Ember wanted to feel safe. "Oh, little Ember, birds will take another. Stay safe in the nest. Ember was still afraid. "Is it the night that scares you, little one?" "See, night is gone. Day, birds will make the world less frightening." It wasn't only the night that frightened Ember. The bird was disappointed. Hope is false. Hope hurts little ones in the end. The Forest King spoke. Perhaps they could rest here. It was hard to know what else to say. "Clever little, you will stay. You will search for hope no more. Now take this feather." Feather means Ember is one of us. Birds keep little ones safe. Birds should never leave the nest. The guards seem pleased. "I can hold that bag for you." "Leave them alone. They're one of us now." "Yeah, one of us. And we all shares bags and things." Back again. He's resting now. It takes a lot, you know. Turning night to day. Where's the other little ones? They left the quick way. Right, ignore them. They're just having a bit of jokes. It didn't feel like a joke to Ember. He's resting now. It takes a lot, you know. Turning night to day. We'll be watching you. The stranger wanted Ember's attention. Being careful not to speak to... "You should get away from here while you still... You can't trust the bird. I've heard there's another campfire in... Well, that's where I'm going if I can find a way down." The travelers had disappeared. Their campfire remained. Bear tracks lay in the cinders. The guard squawked. "Stand back, don't come any closer. Nothing down there but sadness and turning forlorn. Go see the Forest King. He'll set you straight." "Got your first feather, I. Stand watch here. Promise you won't let anyone pass." The stranger leaned in. "But friend, those birds are really just embers, dressed up." Ember didn't like deceiving the birds. But what choice did they have? They couldn't rest in that. Ember wasn't ready to face the birds again. Ember wasn't ready to face the birds again. Hidden away was a scrap of journal. There were memories here, bound in rock. I hear their voices echo in the ancient stone. I find footprints by the cinders, a makeshift camp. This forlorn was not the same as the others. The forlorn whispered softly, I may never be ready. The future is yours, stranger, but mine is mine. Ember left the forlorn with their thoughts. The time wasn't right, perhaps would never be. Ember hurried away from the birds. The mist hung close to Ember, hiding them. The forest king seemed frightened, the birds cruel. Ember would rather risk turning forlorn than become like them. Ahead there would be others to help, and maybe a way to move on. Ember found a scrap of journal. I heard them coming. The snap of a twig, a flutter of birds. A figure dashing through the undergrowth. Another like me? The traveler seemed distressed. I'm sure it's fine, but it's been a while. It's my fault. The traveler whispered quietly, no matter where I go, I always end up here. No matter where I go, always here. Hidden inside was the wanderer's journal. Another face at last. A catcher of fish resting by a pond. We work together, silk and tar and aching fingers. My boat floats once more, though I almost wish to stay. It looked like a map, but pieces were missing. The piece formed a new route. It was the same place as before. But how? An eerie scene, like a moment frozen in time. Inside was a secret diary entry. Pink, orange, red, brown, leaves gently dancing to the ground. Crunch, crackle, lovely sound, fall into a giant mound. gradually more of the map was revealed. A section of bridge had somehow been ripped from its foundations. It was like the map had been broken on purpose. The mist revealed a secret place. Was it hidden on purpose? The stranger spoke. You know, Pot, I said some things I shouldn't, and now I'm lost. And it's too late. The skeleton looked peaceful. Held tightly in its hand was a red feather. The statue spoke, just as it once moved the hearts of the instrument you now hold, has the power to move the world around you, another before you, to great effort to hide it deep within this riddle. The lanthorn began to glow. A lost message was inside. The mist is thick. One way blurs into another. Where do I end? Where does the world begin? I cannot see far enough to tell. Ember found a secret note from the Wanderer. Something beckons. This place is not home. I trace the map in my head, recite the older myths. I have to move on. There was one last place to reach on the map. Ember found a lost message. The smell of hot broth and hearty stew wafts across the swamp. By the cook's pot I meet another. They are on their own path, but we promise to meet again. Inside was a scrap of journal. In the orchard, I meet the stranger from the cook's fire, a stranger no longer. Together we fill their satchel, food and memories for the road ahead. The Wanderer's Diary. An ancient throne sits empty. No one remains to guide or protect, but we do not mind. My companion shelters with me now. We cannot help those left behind. Ember felt a great relief to be out of the mist. Ember didn't mind getting muddy. The slide was such fun. The fruit was giving off a sickly sweet smell. Ember chuckled. The dangerous plant was no match for a hungry piggy. A hideous odor filled the air. And suddenly, the reason was obvious. The pig inhaled a giant snort of air. Wait, what's that delicious smell? Ember shuffled nervously. Other embers fed me treats, but then stopped. You feed me now. It was junk. Maybe the pig would eat some junk. As the pig chewed, a light grew in its belly. Surprising, a little sparky, but tingly in belly. But what I want is something more fruity. The pig would eat anything. Ember just needed to find more. And with each thing it ate, the light grew even brighter. Fruity, fresh, but what I want is something with more crunch. Perhaps if Ember could satisfy the pig, they might be more helpful. Ember found the Wanderer's diary. We stop by the warmth of another campfire. The guardian spirit provokes us, asks what we hope to resolve. I do not understand the question. My companion is silent. Ember uncovered a journal entry. Snorty piggy, simple piggy, so easily teased with fruit. They are no help until they are fed. A few grow fat, wobbling on their trotters. The skull was disgusting. Perhaps the pig would like it. This was the last thing Ember could find to offer. Crunchy, embery, but what I wanted, the pig's stomach made an almighty sound. Ember chuckled with relief at the large creature they had been so afraid of. The pig had vanished, but something moved beneath the surface. In a muddy pond, Ember thought the pig looked a lot. The pig shouted joyously. The water feels so good on the skin. Join me, morsel. The pig seemed happy, but Ember wasn't getting too close. Why do I consume whatever people put in front of me? I need some true nourishment, but there's none left here. But so much cooler in this muddy pond, I can finally think. Thank you, morsel. Ember came upon another campfire lost in the wilderness. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." It looked long cold, but ready to be lit. This is the hollow. Here hope was consumed before. You must not lose hope. For you too, Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. The forest, the campfire will light the way. Find those who are lost. Bring embers to the fire. There are others lost. Find them and I will guide them. Travel wisely. Return if you have lost your way. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." Down steps to your east, travel the path south, watching a pig grow unhappy, a forlorn lost hope. Hidden away was a scrap of journal. Hands encircled around the evening fire, merry lanthorn tunes, singing out the promises of old. Will home be as we remember? Through the mist, Ember could feel they were being watched. The stranger knew they had to move on. The path behind was forever closed. They tried so hard to see it all. To leave now seemed unbearable. The stranger stared past Ember. I'm almost ready. Let me sit a little longer. I will catch up, I promise. Ember found a scrap of journal. The lanthorn wards off ghosts and fear. It shapes the world as we wish it. I urge my companion to rest, but still they stare into the fire. The stranger had come so very far. They felt the air beneath them, the distance ever widening. It was such a long way down. A resolve stirred within the stranger. Just a few more steps. It can't be much further. Hidden inside was the wanderer's journal. Our feet are weary, the hours long. There will be much to do when we arrive. I tell my companion of those waiting at home. They do not seem to know what to say. Ember thought about the pig. Fed to bursting by others but without nourishment. Who had the pig been before? Ember wondered. Cheerily the stranger reminded me of one of those stood there, mouth open. I like you. Inside was a secret diary entry. The satchel is almost bare, our supplies exhausted. The taste of a good meal is not easily forgotten, but it slipped my mind to thank the cook. A stone golem frozen in the lake, a relic from a forgotten time. Ember watched as the helpful piggy cleared the path. A lost message was inside. Our music crafts our path, bridging over any we pass. My companion's hand clutches mine. We dart like fireflies through the swamp. The stranger couldn't take on more. The time to grow had passed. They settled into the soft moss and waited. The strangers stretched their limbs. Perhaps it is not too late after all. Ember found a secret note from the Wanderer. A memory lapse at the edge of my dreams. A time before the water, someone I wished to stay for. We must hurry home. The pot had turned cold. The fire had died. Nothing the cook made felt good enough. Endlessly stirring the same tasteless pot. Couldn't focus, sleepwalking through the days. In the eye of the storm, a fragile flicker. They wanted to serve something perfect. The praise of others was hollow. The cook felt numb and hurt all at once. The cook spoke softly. "Oh, I must have lost myself for a moment. It's supposed to be my new soup recipe, but it's not ready. A wonderful smell wafted. You look starving, poor thing. Have a little taste." But it's not. It was the most beautiful thing, Ember. I know. Ember wished the cook would believe them. "Oh, I'd forgotten how... But it's not ready." The cook stirred their soup, looking at Ember, looking at the pot, staring. "Soon, maybe." "Oh, I used to love this, but nothing has flavor. I'm stuck. If you know what you want, but I really need something from the orchard, if it was still standing." "Oh," the cook struggled. "Pigs have gotten in me orchard, planted every sapling up, all me hard work. Take the key and have a look yourself. I can't bear to. See if anything is left, but I promise you, there won't be." Ember found a lost message. To see hope fade in those you care for, the harder I squeeze, the quicker it slips away. The stranger was afraid. They couldn't see what lay ahead. Ember saw their own fear reflected in the stranger. The darkness hungered for them all. Ember spoke hesitantly. How do you continue, never knowing if we'll reach the end? The stranger puzzled over their journey. Some steps felt effortless. Some steps seemed impossible. Again and again they return to the past. Twisted by unseen. Gratefully, the stranger said, "Friend, thank you. We all help each other along the path." Inside was a scrap of journal. Less and less grows here. I dare not go in the caves alone. The spiders whisper. Their cobwebs glitter. I am not sure I am ready. The Wanderer's Diary. Frogs play at the feet of fallen statues. Simple, splashy, happy little hoppers. They seem content in the home they've made. The stranger said excitedly, "I've not heard a lanthorn play. Magical sound a lanthorn makes. Let me tell you, I plays a good lanthorn." The orchard gate was locked and needed a key. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. The cook was right. The pigs had destroyed everything. The pig devoured the fruit with careless abandon. The frog seemed nervous, but also relieved to see Ember. They told Ember that the birds had let all the pigs into the orchard and that the pigs had eaten everything, all whilst the birds watched and laughed. Except one precious thing the frog offered the lotus seeds to Ember. They pleaded for Ember to take the lotus seeds, as the frog knew how important good ingredients were in hard times. Ember found the Wanderer's diary. The earth resists my wishes. The lanthorn will not answer when I blow. I must be rid of it. I hide the wretched instrument deep in a riddle. The stranger closed their eyes and let the fog overwhelm them. Soft, gentle fog, it held them like a vice. The mist could not be pushed, would not be fanned away. The stranger spoke. The fog didn't choose me, it just was. I hope it never closes on you, friend. Ember uncovered a journal entry. I dock my boat at the final harbour. Soft drips dripping over slick black rock. Something hisses from the dark. The stranger couldn't face themselves. It just to be outshone. They'd never meant any harm. Easier just to turn aside. The stranger searched Ember's face. Is there hope for me, do you think? Will I make it? Back so soon? I can't believe I've never cooked with lotus seeds before. Ember felt happy seeing the what a lovely surprise! Please try some. Help yourself. Be well, little one, and do remember me if you are ever hungry. The pig was joyous. What is this morsel? My insides feel as refreshed as my outside. I did not dream such food. We will plant a garden of treats. We will grow and eat like Piggy King. Compliments to the chef. ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. You have done well to get this far, little one. I will clear the path ahead for you." You have seen and they know the secrets of this place. Seek them out. Softly the ember said, with love the stranger said, "I needed a friend," the ember whispered. "It's so long," the stranger said thoughtfully. "I needed better," the ember spoke hesitantly. "Nothing is endless. Nothing." Gently the stranger said, "Love survives us all in the end." With courage the ember said, "We should be more careful of each other." The painting was the same as Ember had seen before. 2 embers shone clearly in the daylight now, their journey ahead. The forlorn was cold to the touch, different to the others. The stranger spoke. "Thank you for coming. I can't let another in right now." Ember shared a moment with the forlorn and hoped they would find what they needed. Hidden away was a scrap of journal. The snake is drawn to the light. They are not so fearsome after all. I think they mean no harm. Well now, we've been looking everywhere. Fun, over the wall. Hope you have a good excuse for what. Ember's heart sank. Ember told the birds about all they had seen in the mark. Save your made-up. Oh yes, tell the lies to the king. Ember felt nervous standing before the king again. Frustrated, the forest. "You must rest now. You give false hope, try and fail and hurt." Ember could feel the forest king looking right through them. "This end, why not stop? You must stay. Last chance. Make sure gates are locked. Let no more in. Ember took the key. What choice did they have? Yeah, Don't betray the Forest King again. The stranger glanced around, speaking in... You managed to... I think I'll look for the campfire. Good luck to you, stranger. The ember looked proud. The ember hesitated. I can't wait until... Yeah. The traveler looked... I wanted so... I'm not sure it feels right here either. The stranger in... Don't tell anyone. But the secret ingredient is pork. The stranger spoke earnestly. I've seen those... It's a shame they wouldn't listen. The crossroads gate was locked. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. Eagerly, Ember left the birds behind, glad to be free. The traveler whispered, "Watch the birds build the dam." Took them forever. They had no clue what they... It was hilarious. It was a dock, but the water wasn't high enough to use it. It was an abandoned boat, sadly stranded in the mud. Ember was at the entrance to a dock. The smell of stale water oozed out, like it had once been flooded, but now was bone dry. The forlorn was not the same as the others. Flinching, the stranger spoke. "I don't want your help. I'm not ready to let go of how I'm feeling." With regret, Ember moved on. Excitedly, the stranger said, "Look, it's Iron Claw. Friend, this crab is that together we can trap him. I've got a plan, been waiting for someone to help. You help me, and I'll help you. Try lowering the crab over here with the chum in that bucket." Crab is all yours, didn't plan any. Look at that claw though, friend. Could do some real damage. Crab is all... Look at that claw though, friend. Could do some real damage. Crab is all yours. Look at that claw though, friend. Could do some real damage. Ember found a scrap of journal. In the dark, I slip and stumble, land hard upon my knee. Without thinking, I reach for an absent hand. Hidden inside was the wanderer's journal. Alone I searched, I swallowed hesitation, and at last the doorway opened, but beyond there was nothing. I did not understand. Ember thought of the pigs from the marsh. Someone had tightly sealed the dam. Ember wondered what secrets it might spill. Inside was a secret diary entry. And so it goes. We try, we fail, there is nothing more. Home is not as I wished. Hope, do not believe in false hope. The stranger pondered, to help get the water flowing, but I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. The bellows breathed life into the fire beneath the boiler. But it would take more air to fully stoke the fire. Oh, I think there's one more of those valve things. hope we don't get in trouble for this. With a satisfying rush, the dam waters burst. Ember really did hope they wouldn't be in trouble. A lost message was inside. The embers rush past in a blur. They must not know what awaits. Poor, foolish little embers. A few trip and falter, grasping for a reason to stop or turn around. With everything flooded again, Ember wondered if now they could reach the entrance of the cave. Freed from the mud, the boat looked inviting. The boat was a perfect fit for Ember. It felt like they were on the right path at last. Ember found a secret note from the Wanderer. A few embers flock together. Together we linger. Together we could be a beacon, a lighthouse. The passageway was dark and eerily silent. Ember wondered why the dam had been blocked. There was a lens on the wall. It looked dull in the darkness. There was a space in the frame for something to fit. Ember found a lost message. I cannot move on, but I can protect others. We would be comfortable here, happy one day. As the gate opened, what was the gate keeping locked away? Ember had found another unlit campfire at the heart of the cave. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." This is the cave. Fear would not allow hope to. You must not lose hope. Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. The Forest King, what the campfire will light the way. Find those who are lost. Bring embers to the fire. There are others lost. Find them and I will guide them. Not far from this campfire, a path runs north. Where the pathway ends, a forlorn lies helpless. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." Take the water to the east. In an open corner, a forlorn lies unmoving. The strangers, the Forest King, maybe I should just take it. The stranger seemed the Forest King. Maybe I should just take it. The stranger muttered, "Well, I'm not falling for that again." Inside was a scrap of journal. A rusty bucket rattles in the depths. a meddler from a bygone time. They want to be helpful, piecing together the wood and the gears. I ensure they do not see what they build. A shadow moved in the distance. Ember hoped that it was a trick of the light. The stranger whispered, "Creepy that one is. Peeping out. Yeah, watching you. Specifically you." The creature's body slithered between the rocks, seeming to never end. The stranger was wary, coiled and tense. The dark had gifted them friends in the past. The dark had stolen much more. Would this new light do the same? The stranger whispered, "I'm so tired. Do you know the way?" The Wanderer's Diary. No more lanthorn tunes, no more confrontation. Hazy faces put aside, none need face the end. The stranger was tired of pretending. Fortune had always favored them. They'd never have made it on their own. Had they deserved to make it this far? The stranger spoke simply. "Thank you." Terror gripped Ember suddenly. Fear overwhelmed them. The splintered plank was... They sat for a moment. Perhaps the Forest King was right. There was no hope here. A discarded builder robot. The poor thing was rusted in place. The builder's thoughts were stuck in a loop, turning slowly to rust, only the echoes for company. Disconnected gears in their head turning round and round. Each unshared moment went the same. Lost and uncared for was a dim glow. The years of loneliness had warped the builder's feelings. Perhaps they should be alone. Time spent with others felt like a false memory. The soundless days measured piece by piece. Who's there? I can't see. It's dark, I'm ever so afraid. Keep talking to me, please. My eye. The feather. It's been so long since I've talked to anyone. I can feel the warmth. An outside... It's okay if you don't want to help. But it would be so nice to see what you look like. It was wonderful to meet you. Don't forget me, please. The others never came back. Ember found the Wanderer's diary. In a forgotten clearing, I meet a stranger, but they do not respond. Motionless, their body all rock and cold. What has happened? The builder took a moment as they tried to focus their eye on it. So that's what you look like. I don't know what I expected, but you have a kind face. Sorry, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. It's just been so long since I've seen it. I've never been good at talking to others. You seem different somehow. Wait, how did you get here? Oh, that's unfortunate. You'll be stuck here without a... The builder seemed to have a night. You know, maybe I can help you. This is so exciting. This is what I was making. It's been so long since I made something for someone. Ember watched in amazement. Could I get your input for a moment? The scraps of broken wood and metal were being transformed. Could I get your input for a moment? Whatever the builder was making was nearly ready. I really... Sorry, it's a bit rough around the edges. It's, definitely seaworthy. You hate it, don't you? Ember stood in stunned silence. That is such relief. Really warms my pistons. I'm so happy. Oh no, I'm not... Oh, that's very kind of you. Truly, I would if I could. But if you see any others, perhaps ask them. Ember would come back if they could. Perhaps the builder just needed more time. Oh, hello again. Hope you're doing okay. It's so nice to have the caves. Just the grey walls, the grey floors, the darkness closing in. Home. Just make every single one the same face. He actually said that to me. Imagine their faces when a boat is a boat. How about duck boat? Their faces. I'm not good with others. They were always so mean and cruel, and perhaps that should have been a hint. What it means to have my sight for to finally watch the sun. I've never seen the sun set in this dark cave, but I could. The snake is misunderstood by they're just a giant metal snake drawn to the light. Why are people so quick to judge that giant reptile? Don't forget me. It was so nice to meet you. The boat was a little unconventional, but Ember already loved it. Tremendous, terrifying shape slithered from the shadows. The snake's body coiled around the forlorn like a scaly shield. Ember uncovered a journal entry. I find another encased by stone. I feel their mutterings, whispers under my skin. They are forlorn. They cannot find home. It is terrifying. The stranger was so lost. curling and coiling, lost forever. The stranger looked at Ember with relief. I tried to go back, but I just went nowhere. Time to go forward, I think. The light acted as a beacon, drawing the snake away from the forlorn. Ember swallowed their fear, feeling tiny before the enormous serpent. The forlorn was released from the coil of the snake's body. Hidden away was a scrap of journal. The forlorn have entered my dreams, their accusing voices inescapable. The stranger's thoughts bubbled up freely. The invitation was clear. Some thoughts were easily found. some thoughts only whispered. Old feelings in a complex tongue. The stranger had much to consider. The stranger seemed grateful. I think I have to choose for myself. Ember felt pity for the skeleton, without a flower to mark their grave. Ember found a scrap of journal. I kneel in the damp. Tiny stones pierce my knees. The mud soaks. Lost. Too tired to sleep. I will not be stone. The stranger had misplaced a memory. They tried to remember but found more voids. Only the shape of the thought remained. The stranger looked around fearfully. I stayed in the nest too long. Ember hoped this would help this soul find peace. The spindle was missing a handle, so Ember couldn't turn it. Tremendous, terrifying shape slithered from the shadows. The snake's body coiled around the forlorn like a scaly shield. Hidden inside was the Wanderer's journal. Dam the water, scuttle the boats. This will be our new home. We will stay in our nest forever. Inside was a secret diary entry. This is the promised home. I have nothing to resolve. Close the gates. Keep all lost souls safe. The stranger's heart was in knots. The sun, a faded memory. With tears, the stranger said, "You have reminded me, friend. The beacon." The light acted as a beacon, drawing the snake away from the forlorn. Ember swallowed their fear, feeling tiny before the enormous serpent. The forlorn was released from the coil of the snake's body. The stranger had been robbed by an icy hand. They had burned so bright, so brilliant. But with flicker and ash, their flame had faded. stranger looked at their hands tearfully. I had forgotten how warm it feels, just being. The ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. Your journey lies ahead. Your journey is nearing it. You have cleared a path for others. I will guide them after you have gone." Only the forest king. Ask them your know that if you return here, you will always be welcome. Gently the stranger said, "Loves," the stranger said thoughtfully. "I needed better friends." The ember spoke hesitantly. "Nothing is endless. Nothing." The stranger spoke. "Please take." The stranger spoke simply. "Thank you," the stranger thought. "Most things I worry about." Gratefully the ember said, "I felt so trapped for such a long time." The taste of fresh air was welcoming as Ember left the caves behind. The taste of fresh air was welcoming as Ember left the caves behind. The forlorn was different. I sang. I was Ember. I was bird. I was forlorn. None were my true self. I will not go back to flame nor feather. I will find another way. Ember understood and let them be. Something was wrong. Ember could feel it. It was quiet. All the birds had gone. There you are. You've done this. The king is gone. Gone. Telling lies, being tricksy. We had no troubles till this one. The king is dead. Dead. They'll be coming for us now, all of them. Who looks after us now? What does we do? I'm not a real bird, just wearing bird clothes. They're not even a real bird. Who look after them now? A lost message was inside. Feathers red and ashes white, embers shelter from the night. Still and safe and nestled tight, final hours of the fading light. There you are. The king is gone. Telling lies. We had no troubles till this one. The king is dead. They'll be coming for us now. Who looks after us? What does we do? I'm not a real bird. They're not even a real. Who look after them now? Chains and pulleys in the base of the chair. It didn't feel real. The Forest King wasn't real. Broken boats were scattered on the water. The ghost spoke. This is the last campfire. What you do now is yours to decide. This is the end. You have helped all. It is time to complete your own journey. A boat lies waiting, but it belongs to another. Their path was not. Seek them out before you move on. In the clearing, Ember hoped to find answers. Behind the Forest King's puppetry, the stranger spoke. Why didn't you stop? Don't you see? What hope can there be in that? The stranger had dropped. Ember knew they spoke the truth. The path goes nowhere, but we sail, slipping beyond the horizon. In the end, I destroyed the boats. What have I done? Slowly, the stranger withdrew. I wanted to be a lighthouse for others. How do you save others once your light has gone out? The wanderer's thoughts had become twisted. Hiding every day behind a mask. Watching hopeful little ones arrive endlessly. Knowing the empty path that lay ahead. Inside their dim light was a hidden pain. They had watched those they care for turn forlorn. They had locked their hope away, tried to protect it. And Ember's actions had seemed a distorted mirror. The wanderer searched for words. When I reached this place, I could see the truth. This is all that there is. There is nothing that comes after. How do you face that? I'm not ready. I turned back, tried to build a little nest. You hope, you try, you fail, and then nothing more. I thought I was saving them, but without an end, they lost hope anyway. The wanderer took a breath. I thought it would lead somewhere. Means, Ember paused. So many places, so many others whose paths had crossed their own. After everything, only my boat finish your journey. Leave this place. Ember knew the end lay ahead. Were they any more ready than the wanderer? is a place where the lost embers go as their light begins to fade.